Okay, welcome to another video from the Brewing HQ. Today we're going to talk about the cost effectiveness of home brewing, and we're gonna give you rough estimates on what it costs to start off for all your equipment. We're going to go through that equipment. We're going to give you a few little pointers that we found interesting when we started off, and then Gar's going to go through the kind of the cost effectiveness as opposed to buying your beer out in a supermarket, and then we're going to discuss the benefits of home brewing. So, Gar, do you want to go?
Yeah, it's probably important to mention that this video is aimed at beginner people who haven't got into it yet. It's probably one of the top questions we get asked. And there's a lot of articles online and a lot of information online that says that it's really cheap and it's cost effective, but we run the maths and it really isn't cost effective when you look at the detail, and we'll go into the detail in a second.
Yeah.
But if you're a home brewer or want to be a home brewer and you want to get into it and you're looking about what's the information on how much is it going to cost, and it's a good thing to know that in advance. I mean, a hobby, and it is a hobby.
It's a hobby. Same as anything else.
Costs money, so there are associated costs, but it's good to get that information, and that's the intention of this video.
Yeah, I think it's a great hobby. Entry level, it's one of those hobbies that you don't have to go straight out and buy all the best equipment straight away.
Yeah.
You can go out and buy
plastic buckets here.
Plastic buckets. I mean, we still use them, so you don't have to go out and spend a fortune immediately. Spend a few quid on these things. If you don't like it, you haven't lost a lot. All right, so will we go through the kit?
Yeah.
All right. So, we're talking about what we've done our research. I mean, we bought our own kits early on. The first thing we used was something that we inherited, kind of thing,
Yeah.
But then later on we wanted our own kit, so we went out and bought a fairly basic kit, and we found that to be unbelievable. Still use it. A basic kit would be a fermenter, which is a bucket. You have your airlock. You have your paddle for stirring, obviously. You have this siphon.
Yeah, and it's probably worth mentioning that particular siphon is an auto siphon. It wouldn't probably come with a kit. You'd probably get a kind of a cheaper siphon. But it still works.
This is what I mean. When you start brewing, you're going to realize you're going to get a lot of sediment at the bottom of your fermenter. So this enables you just to go in and get the beer out without disturbing the sediment as much. So you're going to need some tubing for transfer, and a bottle wand for filling your bottles. I think we got a kit included in our first pack, didn't we?
So most of that equipment there is from a kit but the first kit I got, actually.
So you'll get like a liquid malt extract and your yeast and everything supplied with this. And
it's probably worth noting that the only thing that you typically don't get with kits is the bottles. So you might have to go and buy some bottles. Now there's all sorts of bottles you can get. You can get good glass swing top bottles like this, which is what I prefer.
Yeah.
Or you can go for cheap plastic cap bottles that are significantly less,
which are fine for a first time.
Absolutely. But I mean, if you're the type of person who's going to brew a lot, or you think you might be, you might want to make the investment and buy these. Now a set of 3 of these would come in at about $90 or so.
Yeah.
Whereas you could get a set of the plastic ones for about $40, and it's the $40 version that we price into the figures.
So I mean, the overall figure we came up was $140 for everything. So you get all your fermenter, all your gear, your bits and pieces, and you get plastic bottles.
Yeah.
And you get a kit to make your first brew with. And so $140 is not a lot of money, is it?
Yeah, and it's also probably worth mentioning that that's the cheapest kit we could find online.
Okay.
There's a range of kits. You could go. I mean, there's a Northern Brewer kit, which is a pretty good one that comes with like a stainless steel kettle and all the rest. But this was the cheapest kit we could find or put together ourselves.
So it is. So I think, Gareth, you're going to go through some of the finer details.
So I think that the stats I did, the final figure came out at $145.99.
Yeah.
So I think on average when I do a brew, I end up with about 36 16-ounce bottles. Now, some people say you might get about 40. I typically don't get 40 because there tends to be lots of sediment.
Yeah.
I don't want to suck that up, so I get about 36. There's wastage in the bottling, etc., etc. Now, I did some stats, and I'm going to refer to them on the table here. So that roughly is, if you 36 16-ounce bottles is 576 fluid ounces at a cost of $145.99. That works out at 25 cents per fluid ounce. Right, that's important. Save that one. So I could go to Walmart. I could buy 24 pack of 12-ounce bottles of Bud in Walmart for $19.99. That works out at 7 cents per fluid ounce.
Yeah.
So that's significantly cheaper than home brewing. Or if I went to a major metropolitan area in the US, Google tells me that on average a 12-ounce bottle of Bud in a bar in America is $6. So that works out at 50 cents per fluid ounce. So home brewing is cheaper than buying in a pub or a bar, but it's absolutely not as cheap as buying store bought alcohol from like Walmart or whatever.
Yeah.
So how do you make it cost effective? Well, one of the things is do a second brew, right?
Yeah.
Every time you
Keep
brew,
using your gear.
every time you brew on the same equipment, you bring the cost down. So we did the maths. If you were to brew on 2 brews using the same equipment, so you've spent $140, and let's say you bought another kit, which is just an ingredients kit, for about $40. So I worked it out that it would be 15 cents per fluid ounce on 2 kits. Now, it's becoming more cost effective, but it's still not as cost effective as buying in Walmart, which was 7 cents per fluid ounce.
Yeah.
So, what happens if you did a third brew, right? So, again, I ran the maths. So that was initial equipment was $144 plus $30 for your second brew, plus $30 or so for your third brew.
Yeah.
And it worked out as 12 cents per fluid ounce. Now, it's coming down, but you're suffering somewhat of diminishing returns as you go. Now, how many brews do you think it would take to reach the 7 cent cost effective? To be exactly the same as Walmart?
5.
No, more than 5.
10.
More than 10.
20.
29 brews.
29.
Now, look, there's some maths geniuses out there who'll probably pick apart my maths, and this is just for highlighting purposes. And that's assuming that you didn't replace any of the equipment. And I don't know what equipment would last 29 brews. But, I mean, even my hydrometer yesterday broke it by accident, right?
That's when it's plastic as well. I mean, you're talking, if you get a scratch inside that bucket, you need to replace that bucket. So, you know, you got to bear that in mind. That it's good plastic, it's high grade plastic, but if you get a scratch, that can harbour any sort of foreign particles, you know.
And it's worth looking at the website where I've gone into a bit more details and broken down every brew and the cost and effectiveness of it, and you can see exactly what I'm doing. 29 brews though to be cost effective, but you can reduce the cost somehow. The bottles are a major cost. One of the things you can do is reuse bottles that you buy in the store. Let's say you bought that 24 bottle of Bud. There's no reason why you couldn't use those bottles. You just have to be aware that you have to cap them. You have to clean and sanitize them, but they're perfectly reusable.
Just buy a little capping machine, not that expensive.
Yeah, and that's pretty cheap. And caps themselves are pretty cheap. I mean, Grolsch do swing top bottles like these. You know, even better. You know, if you want to, buy a pack of Grolsch, have a party with your friends. Keep the bottles. Ask your friends to keep the bottles. Again, that's one way of bringing the cost down. But so there you go. It's probably not as cost effective as you think, but it's still cheaper than drinking in a bar.
And better. I mean, the reason they brew is because it tastes better. I find.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. Why do we do it? You know.
Yeah, I mean, I found both of us have a few beers. We're not overly. We don't indulge all the time, but we love a few beers.
No, I think my family and kids put a stop to that.
And so I mean, we found that we were drinking beer that just wasn't really nice, was it?
Yeah. I always found it kind of bland, you know.
Some of it was bland. I mean, yeah, we have a lot of craft breweries popping up now, and the standards are really creeping up there.
It's kind of a recent thing, though, isn't it?
There
The
is
craft brewery
recent,
thing
yeah.
over here, anyway.
I think when we started it, that wasn't there. We've seen. I won't mention any names, but you know, your draft beer that comes out, it's kind of it's fizzy, it's tasteless. It doesn't have a lot of taste in your mouth. I think our first brew we were very, very surprised at how it came out and how good it was. I mean, we didn't know a lot. We didn't put a lot of effort in. We just followed the rules. We followed the guidelines. And what came out, there was really lovely ale, I think. Remember?
Yeah, and I think it's probably worth mentioning as well that when you brew, particularly when you brew from all grain, I mean, you've gone through the entire process yourself. You've extracted all your malts yourself. You know exactly what ended up in that bottle. No chemicals, except for the chemicals you put in there yourself.
Yeah.
So I mean, one of the reasons why we brew, even though it's not cost effective, really, is because it's pure. It's as pure, as you're gonna get.
And it's a hobby. It's something that we enjoy doing. Most of our friends enjoy our beer. Some of them still prefer the store-bought beer, but I mean, we make it and people come around, we drink and we have a good time. I mean, there's more to it than just the cost, isn't there? Really, it's gotta,
So that's our video, pretty much on cost effectiveness. I would say go to our website, the brewinghq.com/cost, and have a look at the article I'm referring to. I go into a bit more detail. There's a couple of tables there which break down exactly the cost per brew, and you can see the kind of figures that I'm talking about. And sure, if you want to argue with me, let's have that argument. That's fine.